Well, the regular season is finally over. Cavs a winner tonight in overtime. 53rd win of the season. They beat the Washington Wizards 113-108. Chris Fedor, Vardon, Chris Haynes to recap the regular season finale. And what a finale it was, guys.
You couldn't anticipate this. I mean, the ending, the players, the rotation, all of it, the suspense, and even the crowd. For the most part, the starters didn't play in the second half, but the crowd was in it from beginning to end, no matter who was in there. And you have to give it up to them. It was fan appreciation night. They definitely showed that they support his team regardless. And it was just a crazy, eerie night, but hard-fought victory.
We all complain, and that's something sports writers do when meaningless games go into overtime. But taking that aside for a moment, that was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed watching Dellavedova. I mean, we've talked about his growth, and he's out there. It may not be a game that mattered, but it was on the line, and he's down there knocking down threes. And to watch Brendan Haywood get out there and hit that little runner in the lane, it just it was a good night.
This was really the Chris Haynes night for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Matthew Dellavedova, 18 points, 12 assists, a double-double for him. And then secret weapon, Brendan Haywood, hitting the big shot down the stretch.
He wants to be referred to as S-Dub.
S-Dub.
So
got it.
That's his name.
You think I could pull that off?
Give it a try.
Calling him S-Dub?
Yeah, you'll be fine. You got the street cred. You know Bone all
just rolls off the tongue for me.
I mean, after all, you do golf with Bone, right?
But Haywood, man, he's a guy who hasn't played at all, and I think everybody's been baffled. But just by some of the games that the Cavaliers have blown teams away. 40 points, things like that nature. Haywood came and sniffed the court. I was convinced this guy would never play again, another minute. And tonight to come in, overtime, hit a free throw, hit a jumper, hit a mid-range jumper down there in the paint. He came through and needed the most, and I talked to him after the game, and I said, hey, man, give me the truth. How when did it work? He said, let me tell you this. I haven't played. Last time I played, it was Black History Month. So what does that tell you? That was a while back.
That's great.
It's funny how you talked about just how much you enjoyed the end of the game in overtime, seeing some of the guys fight the way that they fought. Kendrick Perkins was getting into it with Kevin Serafin, however you pronounce his last name. I don't know. They pronounced it a different name. The PA announcer was going all French with it, so I don't know.
Okay, Kevin Serafin. That's Rich Paul's client.
Okay, Kevin Serafin. He got into it with him. David Blatt enjoyed the end of the game, too.
Yeah.
So it was great to see the guys out there, the guys who have been on the bench, who nobody really talks about, nobody sees the kind of work that they put in behind the scenes, seeing them get some run.
Yeah, I mean, David called timeout with 35 seconds left in regulation. It was either a tie game or maybe the Cavs were up 1 at the time. But just him doing that, calling timeout so they could set up a play, it kind of shows that he was into it, And again, it mattered not at all. And you saw the guys who normally play the bulk of the minutes, they were into the game as well. Before we move forward, I've got to share the best moment of the night.
Uh-oh.
LeBron watched whatever he did in the first half. He wasn't out on the floor. So he comes out for the second half, and he's dressed in street clothes. And he sits on the baseline where the owners sit and where people who pay a lot of money sit. And no one was there because they were all still in the lounge for halftime. So LeBron settles in. He's got his legs crossed, kind of sitting there. I'm watching this. All of a sudden, someone almost taps him on the shoulder. He looks over. He's like, they're like, yeah. And LeBron had to get up and go sit down on the bench so customers could sit in those seats.
That's crazy. Buddha. I thought he was the king of everything.
Yeah.
Not the baseline seats, apparently.
Could you imagine that? Walking up to LeBron and you tap him on the shoulder and you're like, hey, 4-time MVP, best player in the game, guy who's hopefully going to bring a championship. You're in my seat. Why don't you get up there, big boy?
Yeah, that takes some stones to do that. Yeah.
Yes,
but it would have been funny if LeBron said, no, you go have my seat. Go sit down. I was on that bench right there.
All right, let's spin this forward, okay? Because tonight's game, whatever, it got them win number 53. And oh, by the way, if they win 16 games, that's what it's going to take to win a championship the rest of the way. You know what that's close to, right? That's close to 70, friends. That is 69 wins. I would be one off on my prediction.
You still holding on to that?
Well, they won 53 tonight, so if they win 16 and they win a championship, that's 69 wins on the season. I'd be one away.
What was your, I forget, what did you say?
It was around 50, 53, 54, something around there.
I had 57. He had 70.
Well,
It's good for context.
He has 70 and a championship. Like,
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
no.
If they win the 16, that gets them to
But
69 and
you-
one win
you
away
had-
from 70.
No, but the difference is you had 70 wins with the roster of Deion Waiters still on it.
Yeah. And
Yes,
Deion's
yes.
still waiting for his first postseason appearance because he's not going to be going there. The thing that we do know is that the Cavs are going to be playing against the Celtics in the first round. Kyrie talked a little bit about the Celtics. Tristan Thompson talked a little bit about the Celtics. Your thoughts on the series that's going to get going on Sunday here at the Cube?
Well, the thing about the Celtics and the thing about this series for me is the Cavs, of course, are a huge favorite.
Yes.
I know Chris and I expect a sweep. I haven't seen what
Okay.
you've said, but I assume.
My predictions are terrible anyway.
Well, that's right, but I assume you're probably along those
Yeah,
lines.
he probably is.
But the difference is Boston is so young that they will not quit in any game.
Mhm.
You will see the Cavs get out to big leads, and whereas maybe a different opponent may recognize that there's a big lead and kind of circle the wagons to play again another night,
Mhm.
Boston is going to go hard every night. So I expect a more difficult series early on, not in terms of wins and losses, but in terms of point differential.
Mhm.
And then I see the Celtics maybe running out of gas as we get a little bit deeper into the series.
That's a good call. Definitely. I think what the fact that the Cavs, they're going to have to fight complacency. That's going to be their main thing because talent from pound for pound, Celtics can't hang with them.
Right.
They got a nice backcourt. You talk about Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart, and
Avery
Bradley. But besides that, that's about it. Oh, but another thing too, their bench, man.
Mhm.
Their bench is the best bench in the league. Put up 42 points a game in that
Yeah.
bench. So that's going to help them. But the Boston Celtics don't have LeBron James,
Right.
Kyrie Irving,
Right.
Kevin Love, and those guys. So I expect it to be a sweep if the Cavs are on top of their game. I think they are right now.
Okay, so you mentioned the one area that Boston has an advantage. I think they have an advantage in another area as well. I think it's coaching.
Woo!
I think Brad Stevens is in the running for Coach of the Year. He'd be on my ballot if I had a ballot. And I think he's the kind of guy who can win one game in a series. And that's it. I think this series goes 5. I think Boston wins one of the games in Boston. And that's it.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why do you think so highly of Brad Stevens?
Well, because I think, given what he has done with the roster that he has, I mean, if you came in this year for Boston, the top 3 players were Rajon Rondo, Jeff Green, and probably Jared Sullinger. Jared Sullinger was hurt for half the season. Jeff Green's in Memphis. Rondo's in Dallas. And still, they've won 24 of their last 36 games. I think that's all about coaching. I think he's the kind of guy that can maximize the talent that he has.
Their record is 39 and 42. Right?
You're absolutely right.
40.
Because
40 and 4.
Yes.
40
because,
and 42.
Yes, because
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
That's still a couple games below 500.
you're
right?
absolutely right. Because they've got one of the least talented rosters, which you already alluded to.
And they're in one of the least talented conferences.
That's
correct?
absolutely right.
But on
Yes.
March 3rd, they weren't 11th. Now they're in 7th. That's pretty good.
Yes. It's a big rise for them. I mean, this is a team that was 16 and 30
No, I understand.
at
No.
one time, and it looked like they were raising the white flag, and it looks like they were going to be in the lottery.
Fedor, I'm giving them his due. But let's not forget, this is the weak Eastern Conference.
You're absolutely right.
40 and 42 is not anything to gush over and get all ooey-gooey about.
When
Now,
you
what
have
is
the
that?
roster that he
Hold on.
has, yes,
I
it
understand.
is.
But when you disrespect Black like that and just say
Oh, come
that
on.
this guy is, just head over heels better than Black, come on now.
He is.
I think they're even. They both haven't done much in the NBA thus far. This is the second year. Last year, he only won 25
Yeah,
games.
that's right.
This year, come on now. I mean, a lot of teams are fighting for the Eastern Conference. I can't give you Coach of the Year. I can't say it's an advantage over Black. Come on now.
End of game situations. If you look at Boston late in games, in this run, in the second half of the season, they've had a bunch of different guys hitting a bunch of different game winners. And that's because of play calling. And that's because of execution out of timeouts. And I just think when you get into a 7-game series, a coach can help you win one game.
So what's the series? Give me your
Cavs in 5.
Oh, you got the Celtics getting one, huh?
Yeah.
Because of coaching, huh?
Yes, one game because
Okay.
of coaching. That's it. Here's another thing that I was wondering from you guys. Toronto tonight
Vardon's falling asleep.
moved to the 4 seed.
I'm good.
Chicago to the 3 seed. Is that going to matter at all in the second round? Would you have rather seen Toronto? Would you have rather seen Chicago?
So the Cavs will either play the Bucks or Chicago in the next round.
The Cavs will be playing Chicago. Yes, that's correct. There is no either or when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're the Cavs, you would have. I think Toronto is a slightly better matchup for them. But if you if your goal is to win the NBA Finals in June, then it really shouldn't matter if you play this.
Okay.
I agree with Joe. Because we're on time. Yeah, it's about midnight right now.
Yeah.
And because I'm right.
Okay. Very
That
good.
too.
Yes. Cavs win tonight, 113-108. It's on to the playoffs. They start on Sunday right here at the Q. Cavs and Celtics, number 2 against number 7. We'll talk to you then here on cleveland.com. Later.